This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Good morning, truth seekers and true crime junkies. Welcome back to another episode of Hit the Road Jack, Finding the Zodiac. I must apologize for last week's episode, which was improperly labeled as John Walsh and the Scorpion Letters. We are going to get to that today during this podcast, but I did attempt to relabel that because all we truly covered was the Christmas card and another anonymous letter, which we're going to talk a little bit more about today. So I'm going to welcome on Lindsay McBrayer.
Hey, how are y'all?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. It's Friday.
It is Friday, and I'm so excited. It has been one hell of a week after returning from Alaska. I have been absolutely slammed, but my interest is very piqued in regards to that Charlie Reese Sentinel letter that you sent me, because we have got some dirt to talk about on that. But first, I want to cover somebody who has reached out to me claiming another suspect. He does believe that they are part of a group. He does not want any of his information shown. So I'm just going to kind of brief and go over some of the research that occurred over this contact. His email to me said, I have information on the Zodiac that has not been released. I don't know what he could possibly mean by that, because he did say he's former law enforcement, so maybe he does have some type of an in. I know. He says, I am the one popping up in the last video. I don't know what he means by that, because the last video was a pre-record. It was not live, so I'm not sure where he popped up, and I didn't see any real notifications from him. But he said, I'd like to speak to Nolan and let it be covered by attorney-client privilege. This is new information and not from old case files, and attached to a person not named publicly. You cannot go over the files and find this information. The local police are taking it very seriously. If you can have Nolan call me, I have called him, but the voicemail is full. Please have him call me any day at 3 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. his time, any day. So I, of course, forwarded that on to Nolan. Nolan did reach out to him. I was hoping Nolan was going to be here this morning to talk about this a little bit. He may have gotten caught up with a court hearing or something to that effect. Anyways, this individual then proceeded to send over, I guess Nolan had instructed him to send evidence over to me. So far as I can tell, the evidence isn't kind of winding out to very much, and it did cause me to do some research. Now, of course, I know that the Zodiac ciphers.com site, this is a list of who they have as potential suspects, which many have already been ruled out. So I'm not sure why they're still showing these. Arthur Lee Allen, obviously at the very top, named the primed suspect. We have told you guys until we are blue in the face and showed you evidence that supports Arthur Lee Allen was not the Zodiac Killer. And then we had Earl Van Best Jr. by Gary Stewart, which we've proved that the handwriting he had examined belonged to the minister who married his dad and mom. Garth Penn and Michael O'Hare. George Hodel and Most Evil. I think that Harriet has kind of weaved a solve that indicates that George Hodel may have had some type of involvement with this group. I'm not sure what Graysmith Unmasked is supposed to lead to. Larry Kane, again, not a very good suspect. Lyndon Lafferty and the Silenced Badge. I'm not sure who this is. Richard Gaikowski, again, it actually says the wrong man. And Richard Marshall, a.k.a. Donald Jeff Andrews, and then Zodiac and the Unabomber. Although I would have to say that the Zodiac made it extremely clear that he did not actively use any bombs. While he used that as a ploy, he had stated that he was never going to blow up children. Anyways, that leads us to this next. Here, we have a picture of what is known as the unknown man. Darlene was approximately 5'5". The man is approximately 5'9". I did strike a line across the top of Darlene's head just to kind of give us an idea how much taller this individual may potentially be than her. And it does look like it's roughly about 5'9". Now, what I did learn, and this picture is covered over here on the right-hand side because this is the new suspect, and I've been asked not to release any of the information for fear that something may happen to the individual who is reporting this information to us. I'm not sure, Lindsay, why people reach out to me if they don't want to give me all the truth. I mean, what is the potential? Are you still there, Lindsay? I think I've lost Lindsay. Again, if you don't want to give me all of the information that you have to look into and see whether or not this person is a potential fit for this.
There we go.
There you are.
Okay. I kept hitting the microphone thing and it wouldn't let me click it off. But I was just gonna say real quick, when you just went over that list of those suspects, there is an indicator and there is a sequence I see of similarities with these people that were named and that have been named in several different instances of being the Zodiac, in which we just ruled that out. I think they are connected in a different way to the government and to the CIA. So just keep that in mind.
Gotcha. Okay. So they're looking at him, and evidently this individual who's reached out to me has indicated that his suspect is also a stepfather, just like Dennis's stepdad, Jack, and that he was related to the CIA and the Secret Service type industry at some point. I'm not really capable of making out a lot of his information because it doesn't come in flowing. And he indicates he's former law enforcement and that he is he has a master's or something in forensics, and you would think he'd be able to plot out this information in a way that was far more palatable so that it could make sense. But so far, I'm not getting a lot of sense made out of anything. But he did.
Well, I will say that almost all of those suspects on that list, if not all of them, have a military background or a military background within their family. That's very prominent.
I thought that Richard Gaikowski did not. Hold on, because there was two people, and I thought Richard Gaikowski was one of them that did not have a military background, and which case the 2020 docu-series where the Orange Shack fella who claims to have solved the 340 indicated that they now believe that the Zodiac had no military connection, which I thought huge BS.
Oh, yeah.
BS all day long.
I was about to say, what? No, are you kidding me? That's a joke.
That is a huge joke. And to follow that up, it was because the two suspects they were naming did not have military backgrounds. So, of course, they needed to fit the narrative. Yeah, and I thought Richard Gaikowski was one of them. So I'm not sure. I would have to go back and check that information. Anyways, the picture of the unknown man, and you're going to find this interesting, Lindsay, because it was actually John Walsh who put this picture out. And I'm going to talk about that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Either way, it became this huge hype, almost as if to reopen the case, and we found new information. Who is this strange man in this picture? What I can surmise from this is that the man is approximately 5'9". In speaking to the individual who has sent me the information on this new suspect, claims that the suspect is approximately 5'11". So we can see that clearly this guy is shorter in this picture than his stepfather was. Also to note that the individual in this picture, now this picture was purportedly stashed or hidden in Darlene's belongings. To note that it was not her ex-husband, Jim Phillips Crabtree. He has indicated that he is not the individual in this picture. However, this person is absolutely wearing a wedding ring. So I went on to ask the new new guy in regards to his suspect, whether or not he was married at this time. He indicated no, he was not. So either this picture is stashed because Darlene's cheating with a married man, or I want to say, or I really don't know an alternative for her standing next to and all cozy with an individual. Either way, that had brought to light because they were trying to, I think, pin the fact that Darlene knew her killer. And many people have suggested that they did not. When I actually put all of the pictures up in line, I about fell over because in my reading, some people had indicated they thought it was Brian Hartnell in this picture. And if you look at these pictures side by side, my God, they're almost a dead ringer for each other. It's like they're their doppelgangers or something. And again, the picture that I was supplied of this new suspect looks nothing like this picture. And he's trying to claim that by biometrics, it's matched the face. It absolutely 100% looks like two totally different people, and of course does not match the Zodiac composite either. So I'm starting to tend to think that this is just another person trying to buy up my time.
Look like Hartnell.
Oh, welcome, Nolan. It does look like Hartnell, doesn't it? I think you froze up. Are you hearing me? You must be having some technical difficulties. All right. Anyways, we are seeing that
you're back.
I'm back? Okay. So yeah, does it not look like Brian Hartnell?
Sure does to me.
I was a little blown away. I was like, when I was
and the guy you're referring to, that's trying to say
the what?
That's a stepdad. No, he's all over the board.
Right. Yeah, he absolutely is. He's talking about the BTK killer. Now, I thought the BTK killer had been caught. I'm still not getting responses.
I was listening. I was just waiting for no one to respond. But yeah, the BTK killer. Yeah, he's definitely he was definitely caught, and he does not look like him either to me.
Well, he's trying to say that they're all part of the same group, I guess.
They are. That is true. I can confirm that.
BTK killer is part of the same group?
Oh, yeah.
Has he made claims that there are others involved?
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, so maybe there's a little truth between his connections somehow. Either way, like Nolan said, he's kind of all over the board with his information, and we know the connections to Manson. I was not aware of any connections to BTK. Maybe that's something I need to climb into. Yes, hello.
Oh, I hear him, but then he just froze again.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You keep freezing.
Me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my computer.
Okay.
Should I go out and come back in?
No, you seem to be working fine now. Don't leave.
Okay.
All right. What were you going to say about BTK?
Oh, there's similarities in the taunting of law enforcement and sending out of messages and whatnot to media, things like that.
The FBI did indicate that there is a good number of serial killers that absolutely write in and taunt law enforcement. So there's no doubt that there are going to be other serial killers that are as brazen as the Zodiac is. Now, whether or not these individuals knew each other, I mean, I would love to see the picture of the BTK killer and see if that's anything I can match to any known pictures of Jack's. That could be helpful. But I really don't even have in mind who it was that they caught. Do you know who the BTK killer was?
I don't.
Lindsay?
I have his face pictured in my head. Let me see. Dennis. I think his name was Dennis something.
Schrader?
Dennis Schrader. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, is the picture in the middle? Is that Hartnell? The black and white?
No,
one?
that's the unknown man in a picture found hidden in Darlene's stuff.
Okay.
So evidently, the purported story behind this picture was found hidden in her stuff. Clearly,
no, but the black and white one. If you go back to the last slide.
That's him. That's Hartnell in the hospital.
Okay, yeah.
So there's the picture of his face in color to the left, and then him laying in the hospital bed at Napa Valley. Or I'm sorry, Queen of the Valley.
Could be his brother.
I know. He was serious doppelganger there. All right.
Yeah.
So
well, I want to point out something. I just noticed that your well, no, you can go back to the next slide because it's actually at the top of the next one, I think. And you had it at the top of the picture of the other picture that was found in Darlene's stuff.
This one?
So yes. So you entitled it Laundry and Research.
Yeah.
I find it kind of crazy that that you named it that. Can you tell us why you named it that?
Well, anytime I'm having to follow up on a lead or any type of research, that's just the default slide that I plot everything down to. So that just means that's new work that I just recently discovered.
Oh, okay. Just curious because laundry, actually, that word comes into effect with John Walsh a lot, actually. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, and I bet it's dirty laundry.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So on to, this is actually from one of the, I think it's the Zodiac ciphers or Zodiac Killer, or zodiacciphers.com, I believe, is where I pulled this insert from. And you guys are going to find this interesting. It says, Tom Voigt continued to suggest that the unidentified man in the photograph may have been somehow connected to Darlene's murder or the Zodiac crimes. Yet many members of his own message board agreed with other reasonable observers and believed that the man was most likely Darlene's ex-husband. However, I did read in the research that Crabtree had indicated he is not the person in that picture. I don't know why he would deny it if he was, because they were clearly married in 67, 68, somewhere around there, 66 to 68. The America's Most Wanted website stated that police wanted to identify the man in question, yet anyone who wished to do so would have better luck contacting Darlene's family and friends in search of an answer, rather than asking viewers all over the world who did not know Darlene Ferrin at all. I think that's a very darn good point.
Yes.
The AMW...
She was a popular girl, though. She got around.
Yes.
Yeah.
The AMW broadcast consisted largely of material already shown in previous Zodiac segments, and the inclusion of the unidentified man seemed to be a little more than an attempt to boost ratings with the illusion that the broadcast was presenting important new evidence. The facts strongly indicate that the man in the photograph had no connection to the Zodiac, and that those who continued to claim otherwise were doing so in order to get attention. After Voigt's unknown man mystery fizzled, rumors surfaced that Voigt was claiming he had contacted Darlene's ex-husband Jim Phillips, and that he stated that he was not the man in the photograph. In 2008, Voigt had written that Phillips is a fabulous source of mine, yet Voigt did not report any such denials from Phillips to the public. So basically, he even tried to say that this was Gaikowski, I believe, in what I'm reading from this website. Voigt is all over the place as to who this individual could be, but again, he also... Yeah. Oh, you froze again.
Oh my God.
It made me crazy. Just when you have something good to say, I'm sure. Either way, just as Gaikowski is not a match to
is anyone,
the Zodiac. What? Maybe you need to go out and come back in again. There he did. All right. So just as Tom Voigt has alluded to Gaikowski being a Zodiac suspect when he does not match the composite at all, I would suggest that Voigt get his eyes checked because there's something going on there. And on to some more laundry research, which is just more communications from other individuals. Miss Vanerek, this woman, I really can't make heads or tails of some of her stuff, but she was talking about the mob were using radio communication to organize their booze smuggling operations. I concur with that. So I would like to draw Harriet's attention to the newspaper ads posted by Fred Dodd, aka Wallace Bard Muhammad. Especially, I think that this woman actually believes there's some Saudi Arabia connection to the Zodiac, which to the extent that I could find anything from East India was literally the prince of, we were talking Kagashi, what was his name? He was hemmed up with
Khashoggi.
Rebozo.
Khashoggi, yeah. Khashoggi,
yes.
yeah.
And he was human trafficking, women, possibly children. Who knows what he was being investigated for with Rebozo, but we have shown that connection between him and John Walsh and all of these other people. But this person believes that the Zodiac was literally from, I think, East India. Let's see.
In the Woodward book,
India.
I know. Just bear with me. What's that?
Okay, keep going.
Say that again.
There is an Indian connection with the Walsh family.
You're cutting out again. I don't know what's going on with your internet right now. The what?
He was an arms trafficker as well. He was involved with all. I'm back.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
you're cutting out. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're freezing and cutting. Do you need to be closer to your server? I'm not sure. Anyways, okay, so she says law is the first feminine and the Z340 begins with her, all linked. So again, I'm just missing what this connection is. These messages are shown in a document I found whilst reading The Nation of Islam. So there's the connection. She's claiming an Islamic connection. I don't know what it is called because I saved a copy and it just got labeled video download. It's presented by a man with a big silicon lemon. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
What?
I know. The signature symbol on the Zodiac soil barrel letter is therefore based on the Steno Company logo. I don't know who Steno Company is, and I don't know what logo she's referring to. So again, you guys, when you're going to reach out to me, be more specific. If you're trying to give me information that makes connections, I need to be able to understand those connections. She goes on to
say that there is actually a tree buried for Adam Walsh in Israel. So
really?
Oh yeah. Yep. Why? And I don't really know. And Megan, his daughter, does not know either.
Huh. Well, Miss Vanarak goes on to say, now this gets a little gross. Apparently, in the early years of MI6, they discovered that semen could be used as invisible ink, but how it was made visible, I don't know. Wax resist, perhaps? I don't know what that means. And I wonder if that is what is hinted at to the left of the leafy signature on the soil barrel letter, which always amuses me because the sperm is going away from the egg. Does anybody think that logo on the soy barrel looks like a sperm leaving an egg?
I don't want to. The hell?
I don't either. Well, I said that sounds disgusting, but if you use a UV light in a hotel room, biological matter will illuminate. So this is how they would then see if somebody had written in sperm. I don't know where to go with these people. All right, moving on. Casbah, we heard from him a couple times.
Backtracking a little bit. Is Michael Mageau still alive? Is he around?
I believe he's still alive. I'm not sure where he's at. He probably, like Hartnell, is not doing any interviews or talking about the case anymore. And who knows if they are on a hush-hush, NDA or what have you, not to speak about the case. I don't know what the reasoning is for not wanting to solve it. I get it that there's a lot of kooks out there and you'd want to stay away from them. But there are sometimes people who are legitimately like us that are looking to solve this case with real evidence. We're not coming at you sideways with sperm and with all these other things that you're hearing about. Casbah came back and he said, if your person of interest is Jack is matched to the Zodiac and matched to Texas, then I have solved the Z13 cipher. How long time ago? It says, please, people, write clearly. It says Texarkana Phantom. So I responded back, the Z13 is just that, 13 symbols. Texarkana Phantom takes 16 to make. So I'm not sure where he's going from there. I did ask, I haven't received a response. He indicates the 2 keys that we talked about in the Christmas card has clues in those mailboxes. There's probably a letter or some kind of proof or something in those mailboxes. I don't think there's anything left in those mailboxes. Once they stopped being paid for, unless they were paid for, years and years and years in advance, they were probably reissued to someone else. He said, think about it. It's very like James Bond movie, like To Hide a Clue in the U.S. Postal Service safety box. Yeah, of course. Play, here's the thing. If anybody got those keys and went to those mailboxes, it's going to lead you nowhere because he likes to play games. So in one sentence, he's saying there's something probably hidden there. And then in another post, he's saying it's just games. Again, I don't know. Gary Tong, this is actually a relative of Jack's family. So he said, was there any chewing tobacco to ever be found to be connected to the Zodiac? Because it's the one thing that doesn't add up with Jack. Jack absolutely loved chewing tobacco. So if he was really the Zodiac, you would think someone would have found a connection to the Zodiac and chewing tobacco. So if you can find anything, just one instance of the Zodiac being known to chew it or some found at one of the murder scenes, it would be a huge missing puzzle piece and a huge game changer. That is all. Now, if that was something they found, that might be something they withheld. That may not be included in any of the reports, something that they wanted to keep secret. So I don't know that we would have any opportunity to figure that out. The other side of me says, you know, you got a nasty habit like that. Could you literally be chewing your cud while killing somebody? I mean, if you're swallowing your spit, maybe, but are you going to stop to spit mid-knife thrashing?
No,
exactly. And then that would just be a possibility of you leaving your DNA somewhere. So
right, yeah, he's too smart to do that. He would not chew while he's committing the crimes. That would be stupid.
I wouldn't think so. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. But if he did, and they do have this information, well, we now know. So that means that Jack chewed and smoked. He doubled down on his nicotine.
And a lot of people that smoke do. So
because when they can't smoke, they decide to chew, right?
Yeah.
So Gary Tong, as Jack's nephew through marriage, can confirm he frequented Texas. Jack, Nora, and their son Charles traveled a lot. And for the record, despite that Dennis claimed about Jack killing Nora, Jack did not kill Nora. She died from complications of diabetes after having her leg amputated. She died at the hospital, which I understand that. And Dennis did include that she died at the hospital. The difference is that he believes that Jack hastened her death and also prevented Dennis from visiting his mother at the hospital by having him stopped by security, making false claims of Dennis trying to do something illegal or bad, or, he basically had him 86 from the hospital. And he had found multiple pills underneath his mother's bed where it appeared as though she was hiding her medications after being given to her by Jack because she was afraid Jack was trying to kill her. So she wasn't taking any of her meds. And this would have hastened, obviously somebody in a diabetic state would have hastened their death because she wasn't getting properly medicated for the disease.
Yeah.
Now, this brings us to the Charlie Reese letter, which I am about floored that this was written September of 1981. Adam Walsh did not die till 1984, correct?
No, 81. He died. They found his head August 11th, 1981.
Oh, okay. So I had my years mixed up.
He was kidnapped July 27th, 1981. They found his head on August 11th, 1981.
So now we have the envelope and we have the actual message, which we did not have before with Harriet Solve, where did you find this particular envelope?
This all was in the Adam Walsh case file.
Okay. So there are other documents that are likely out there that we have not seen, but this one was produced. And so this is going to be what, the FOIA file from the FBI?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
It takes years to go through that file because it's so large. There's thousands of pages.
Right. So, it's like going through the Zodiac files.
Is he an editor or a writer? Or
he was the person that wrote to the Sun Sentinel.
Charlie Reese was?
Oh, okay.
But he's addressed it to Charlie Reese, Sentinel Star.
Yeah, it seems like it was sent to him.
Sent to Charlie Reese.
I know, that's what I didn't understand because it looks like it's to Charlie Reese, but
So
I guess
it's addressed.
So I guess he was an editor there. Had to have been.
I think that might have been something that Harriet had confirmed in herself. I'm not sure. Either way, it's the letter we went over 2 weeks ago or last week in regards to the individual claiming to have met a man in a bar. He doesn't know his name. Let me see. Let me go.
That should have been a clearer version.
Yeah, I have a clearer version. That was just the one you sent me. So let me go back here real quick. I know I have it there. No, not there. Oh my goodness, it was back a little bit ago.
I think you're almost there.
Yeah.
It's going to be sideways because I think you had the copy that was sideways.
I'm not seeing it. That was 86. I'm not finding it, you guys. What in the world? I know we just recently.
Can we just go back to the letter and read it?
Yeah. It's blur. It's very blurry. The image that I have is extremely blurry.
Here,
right? I can't read it on my little
really
screen.
Fast, and then I'll read it.
Sorry for the silence here. I am trying to make my way back. That's the Christmas card. I would have thought that it would have been. Nope. Okay. It says, I met this guy in a no-call bar, and he said he knew someone that. Oh, yeah, it gets really blurry. Either way, he's stating that he met somebody in a bar. He doesn't know their name. They were solicited to abduct a boy for an individual.
I got it here. I got it here.
Okay.
I got it here.
Go ahead.
I met this guy in an Ocala bar who said he knew someone that was maybe 10. That knew someone that. Let's see.
Had 10,000
would pay 10,000 for a young boy. This guy had lost his son.
Kid. Yeah, his son.
Yeah, and his wife was going nuts. And we took the deal what do y'all think?
Basically, they took the deal, and then this guy leaves town, the one that's supposedly writing this message. And when he came back, he found out that the kid had been killed.
The boy was killed.
Here we go. So this is the most important part. You can read it better. I know his name was Adam, and he was from the islands. We got him in Hollywood. That's Hollywood, Florida. I don't know this man's name, and he don't know mine. He is a big beard and don't know. Let's see. He is a big beard and no shoes on his feet. He is crazy as hell.
Right. So what I wanted to remind everybody is that we had a similar type communication. Now, I have not identified this as Jack's handwriting. I'm just putting this out there. In 1947, 1948, we had the letter that was written in regards to the real estate agent during the Black Dahlia era of murders. And that person also indicated the same type of situation. I met a man in a bar. I don't know his name, blah, 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 blah. It seems to be the narrative is almost identical to a letter that we have seen before. What mesmerized me here is that we have 2661 written on the actual envelope and 2663 written on the actual letter itself. That means there's a page in between 2662 that we've not seen or has not been produced. Or did you see that, Lindsay?
Interesting.
No, I did. I went in order. Because I was looking for it.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we're missing a 2662.
Maybe it's the other side of the envelope. Who knows what it is? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a cipher. It could be an image. It could be, a multitude of things. But it appears as though the sequence of numbering is incorrect or there's something missing. Oh, here it is, bright and shiny. So we took the deal. He paid cash. I went to, I think he said Chicago. My friend stayed put. I get back and find this kid was killed. which doesn't make any sense, because if they took the deal and they went and kidnapped Adam, where was this kid during that time when this man says he left after I'm assuming? So the letter itself is not holding any water, because he's making it sound as though...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I wanted to read that last bit just a while ago about the islands, is because John Walsh was working for a hotel industry in the Bahamas, and that's why he was talking about the islands. And Megan, his daughter, Megan Walsh, has confirmed that her dad has told her many times that Adam, and there's also documentation of this too, of John Walsh speaking and telling this, that he would take Adam to the islands all the time with him when he went to go work.
Huh.
So Adam's been in the islands. So this dude knows
some things about him.
Yes, because he has been in the islands with his dad. So.
Yeah, so he had basically some inside information, but we also know that inside the mob world, John Walsh's life isn't so secretive, right? I mean,
who goes to a bar to hire people to kidnap a child? That's just weird.
I know. The whole thing.
Random people, yeah.
A little sketchy for me.
And they took the job. I mean,
right. It says they took the job, but then he says he left, and I'm thinking he's saying he left to Chicago and his friends stayed put. I get back and find this kid was killed. So who killed the kid? So these guys are saying we kidnapped him. Then I'm going to surmise that these individuals were not the killers, but they were the ones who kidnapped and handed Adam Walsh off to someone else.
The guy with the beard, with the 10 grand. Well, and that guy said he wanted to adopt the kid, but really wanted to kill him. Yeah.
But these two people supposedly split the 10 grand to do the abduction for this other guy. So he's alluding to the fact that when he gets back, this kid has now been killed by the guy that he basically kidnapped Adam Walsh to give to. So he's implicating somebody other. They're the kidnappers. Somebody else killed him, basically.
Right. The guy that hired them.
Yeah. And so Hollywood is not too far from Dania Beach, which we have a connection to in the earlier Texarkana Phantom murders after they had a suspect in jail. So I just thought it was interesting when I pulled up Hollywood that Dania Beach was so close, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We can see all of this is within approximately, let's see, that's Ocala. So I mapped out. They would have had to have driven almost or a little over 4 hours from Ocala to Hollywood in order to do this kidnapping.
Yep. Well, and all those counties together are very nefarious counties as far as law enforcement goes and crime and secrets. So
I just pulled out this blurb from the letter from 1948 in regards to one of the previous murders. And it says, made an acquaintance with a man 3 weeks ago while in Griffith Park. He, a great sport. We got friendly Friday night, asked me if I'd like to make about $300. So this letter is coming from, again, a point of an individual who met somebody who's now soliciting them to make money to attempt to buy a house for him. And he's claiming that he was then knocked out by this guy, tied up and left unconscious while the person did the deed and killed the real estate agent. So I'm just saying that this whole thought process and the communication of I met another guy who's responsible for this, that I would, I'm telling on them. if you get where I'm going with that in regards to the Ocala letter, it's
similar MO. Yes.
Yeah. All right, so we don't have to go through all of that, but again, I did notice we do know that Jack had affiliation with Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and on the back it says looking north, and of course. We had a couple's murder in Dania Beach, which is all very close to Hollywood. Everything's within about 14 minutes of each other. And it may be neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That's how they get around. And that's how, it's like Florida is so big, but Florida is really a small town where everyone knows everyone at the same time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that brings us to the 1991 Scorpion letters are mailed to John Walsh of America's Most Wanted. Jack seen an episode, and came from Dennis. Jack seen an episode ran by America's Most Wanted on the Zodiac Killer and asked Dennis for a book by John Walsh. Now, next we're going to see the letters that are written to John Walsh. Do you know the name of that book again?
Tears of Rage. I'm reading it. I'm reading it right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, laundry and research on this particular letter, because it says it's been more than 15 years, but America's Most Wanted is just now ready to reveal a series of personal threats in 1991. America's Most Wanted host John Walsh was sent a series of anonymous threatening letters that contained cryptic clues, secret codes, and claims that the author committed some serious crimes. The FBI has examined the letters, and while they still don't know who wrote or sent these letters, they say they were not sent by the Zodiac Killer. You're right. And the cryptographs have yet to be solved. Can you help solve this mystery? Now, my comments on this particular FOIA file paper in regards to these letters is that, number one, they were withheld from the public, just like the Christmas card was, just like the 1986 Sacramento letter was. And it says a series. So that means there were several communications that were sent. I didn't actually find anything threatening John Walsh, nor did I find anything that indicated the individual was familiar with anything that was going on with Adam Walsh, though I believe that there are portions of these letters that have been withheld, if not absolute whole communications. So as we go through these letters, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I didn't see anything that was threatening John Walsh. And why would they withhold?
They wouldn't threaten him, but he what is the reason Adam was taken in the first place, because of something he did. And so they just made him a deal and turned around and said, okay, you're going to be my puppet. You're going to do as I say. You're going to sit when I say sit. And then you're going to do this show. And this is how we're going to cover up all this mess, because it's in connection with all of our shit. So this is what we're going to have to do in order to keep everything going how they want it to be going.
Well, I think it was interesting because it was you that introduced us to the fact that John Walsh did not want FBI involvement in the solving of his son's crime, yet he then teams up with them on America's Most Wanted to help them solve their crimes. I'm a little bewildered.
That was the only law enforcement official that endorsed America's Most Wanted. He makes that clear in one of the early commercials where it comes on like in between you're watching a show, and it's like saying, make sure you watch America's Most Wanted, because we're the only television show that is endorsed by the FBI. And he says it just like that. I've heard it so many times, but yeah. Oh, he makes that clear. And so, but in the case files, he said, no, we don't need the FBI. We got this covered. We got a good group of law enforcement that's working on this, blah, 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 in the beginning. So.
All right. So let's go through. I don't know why okay. So this is one of the first letters. It looks like it may be a complete, communication. I do not have envelopes for this, but the letter is signed off as Scorpion, and it says, I am your worst nightmare coming true. My true identity is not known to you yet, and hopefully will not be for a long time. Your show is more exciting, interesting, and factual than in any shit-falled movie or series. I have recently moved into New Jersey and began a new crime spree. I am currently responsible for 23 unsolved crimes, ranging from arson to burglary to sabotage, homicide, and occasionally everything in between. I strongly advise that you keep this letter and start a rather large file, since you will be hearing from me again. I have enclosed a rather difficultly encoded message containing information that will prove rather useful to you. This code took a lot of time and effort to develop in hopes that it will defeat FBI and CIA code breakers. Anything you wish to tell me or ask me can be conveyed to me on your show. This is, it becomes a common reach out. We're going to see it with Tom Voight. We're seeing it with John Walsh. The identity not being known yet kind of falls in line with the Christmas card that came out in 1990, which indicated guess who? You know, he's dressed in a disguise. No doubt due to the show airing and it still being an unsolved case on the Zodiac. Jack requested a book on John Walsh after seeing his release of the Zodiac Unsolved Mystery. The listing of the crimes that this suspect has committed is not unlike the Zodiac claiming that he will commit in the future. So if you remember correctly, Zodiac indicated, I'm not going to announce it to anyone when I commit my murders. They shall look like routine robberies, killings of anger, and a few fake accidents, etc. So even the linguistics and the message attempting to be portrayed is very similar to what the Zodiac has said. Now, keep in mind
real quick, so the similarities you just mentioned about you don't know my identity, blah blah blah. If you remember just that letter we just read, I don't know his name, he doesn't know mine.
Exactly. Yes, it does fall in with the whole I'm keeping everything a secret, and it's a guessing game, which is exactly the communication portrayed on the Christmas card, which said guess.
Is that the one with the little jackrabbit by the snowman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that just came out in 1990. That's what I'm saying, is that he's been ramping up all of a sudden. Now, this coincides with Jack having retired from Hewlett-Packard as a contract security guard. But as he's retiring, we're starting to see all of these communications emerge as if he's just, piping up to say, hey, folks, I'm still here. So now he's accepting responsibility for crimes in the New Jersey area. Zodiac sent a Christmas card with copies of 2 postmaster keys with serial numbers. Now, I'm not sure whether or not Harriet was correct on this, but she indicated that these postal code numbers went to Princeton, New Jersey, and one was an international post office box key. Now, that is contradicted, obviously, by Tom Voigt and Sandy Betts, who claim that they ran down these postal key numbers and located it to some gentleman in Eureka, which we know the Zodiac has connections to Eureka. So it's interesting, but there's a lot of things that Tom Voigt is being portrayed as somebody who can't be trusted with his information nor his research. So I'm not really sure if I buy into any of the facts that he had gone and visited this individual with a post office box in Eureka and that those keys went there, or if it was just a way for him to disinform the public in regards to where these keys actually link back to. But
real quick before we get off this subject, so whenever I was doing research, I actually researched who Charlie Kerr was, and I actually found this article where somebody was saying Charlie Kerr is who also identified the Charlie in Paul Bonacci's account of an abduction of his abduction. And this is if you're familiar with Paul Bonacci, he was the crazy guy that they said that was crazy that was involved in Johnny Gosh's kidnapping in 1982. This was in Iowa. Well, anyways,
was he a big bearded barefoot person?
I don't know. I have to search for a picture, but they're saying that he was involved in an interstate pedophile ring. His involvement in pedophilia is documented in police reports, and he attached the police reports here. The chance that Bonacci would identify this Sioux City area with Iowa farmhouse owner named Charlie as part of the child trafficking ring, there is in fact a
okay, so I'm not sure how this you've lost me as to how this even fits into what we have going on here with the scorpion letters.
So it connects to this pedophile ring. So I think that they were part this Zodiac ring.
But was that in New Jersey? How did you make this connection?
I was just going back to that letter, the Charlie Kerr letter. I just came.
Okay, but that's being written to Charlie, not from Charlie, and Charlie is the person.
So that's what's
so
weird.
we've got two different Charlies going on here. All right, so
it says Charlie Kerr. That it named him actually his whole name. So.
Okay, yeah, and I don't know. I mean, this is Charlie Reese that is being written to at the Sentinel Star. So Charlie Kerr and Charlie Reese are two different people. Let's see. Zodiac was known to predict his crimes in the future. This may have been a ploy to say where he was going next, if actually received in 1991, or if it was received, as I believed to have seen, in 2001, and was discussing what he had just done. So I also had thought maybe there was a connection. If they're trying to backdate this and say that they've been sitting on these for 15 years, when really they only sat on them for about 5, and these letters were mailed in 2001 following the anthrax attacks. I believe there was approximately 20-some victims involved in that. That would make sense out of the postal keys going to Princeton, New Jersey. It would actually kind of wrap a lot of things up if these letters were received at a different time frame in which they are trying to let us believe. Either way, they withheld it from us for so long. How are we supposed to believe when they actively received these communications? But for now, I have it chronologically in 1991. All right, we're about 10 seconds out from the show ending. We didn't get as far as I wanted in the years.
Do we have any copies of the other Scorpion letters?
Yes, we're going to go over those next Friday. Right. So everybody, I want to thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Dolan. And we'll see you guys next Friday as we continue with the John Walsh Scorpion letters. Take care.
And I'm going to look in the case files, too, for anything in relation to the Scorpion.
Beautiful. Awesome. All right, you guys, take care. Have a great one.